evening, folks. Thanks for joining me tonight on Woodturning Wednesday here on Twitch. My name is Dave, and I'm a wood turner. Tonight, I'm working with a couple of pieces of timber that some wood turning buddies got for me or let me know about. So I've got a piece of cherry that I want to play with, and I got a piece of walnut down here. Now this walnut, it is, let me turn the camera down. It's been sitting around a while, so it's got some cracks in it. Normally I wouldn't, but some of the cracks aren't that deep, and I think that I might be able to get something out of here. Of course, and the other reason is that it's black walnut, so if I can get a nice piece out of the heartwood there, that would be pretty nice. So at least it bears looking at. I will be wearing my face shield for this guy. I've got that here, and my face mask, because there's going to be dusty at least until I get this outer surface off. And this bark that's been left on here is like really spongy. So what I thought I would do is take as much of this off as I can get with a chisel. Since it's so spongy, most of it's coming off pretty easy. So that doesn't fly off the lathe and hit me, even if it is spongy. I'd rather err on the side of caution and try to mitigate things coming off the lathe. So I was going to also, well, here, let's get this done first. I'm just about there. I'll need to turn the log a little bit so that there is at least a visual representation of what I'm talking about. Alright, so that's most of it. Some of it's still going to come off while I'm turning, which is why I'm going to wear the face shield and the mask. The air filter. I'm wearing the mask because this is got some splits in it. There's one running down the back here, but it doesn't appear to be very deep, and it looks like it disappears right about in here. So that kind of tells me that the deepest part's right up in here, and then it gets shallower and shallower where it stops at the surface. But I'm looking for stuff in here, so I know I'm going to waste away the ends. I am going to, I'm going to take a look at it. I'm going to put it on its balance point first and see. If that looks pretty good to me, then I'll go with that. If it doesn't, then I will mark new centers where I think I'd rather have the wood cut out, or the waste wood cut away from. So let's do that. I'm going to get rid of this chisel. Let me put it back in its drawer so it doesn't get lost. I'm also going to turn on my fan down here to help blow away some of this dust. I'll get it on the balance point before I mask up and put the face shield on, because then it'll be pretty difficult to hear me. If I have something that I think might be important to share, then I will stop the lathe and take the mask off so y'all can hear me more clearly. This might not be where I want it. I'm suspecting it's going to take me further out to the outside of the log than I really want to go. But like I said, I wanted to take a look and see where the balance point center might be, and if that would be close enough to where I'd want to start to retain as much of the wood as I could. Alright, let's bring this side up just a bit. Not catching anywhere. Whoops. Come on, Dave. You got this, man. There you go. Oh, can't tell. Yep. Okay, so there's just a little bit right in there. Whoops. Let's loosen that up just a bit more. Alright, that looks like the balance points. I'm going to mark those by seating the points in pretty firmly, and then take a look at it again off the lathe to see if that is the spot I'd really like to have my center on. Just kind of hoping that it's a little bit more. I suspect there's a little water in there. It does feel kind of cool in the center more than on the ends. And this is black walnut, so it's a little more dense than regular walnut, at least in my experience. Oh, I don't know if I even tried that. Did I try that? So I was curious to see if the balance point, like I said, would be in the location that I'd really like to have it. Let's take a look at both ends here. Alright, so that is quite a ways off. I want to not go into that, so I guess if the little of that color shows up, that's fine, but the outside's really spongy. I don't know what shape, although it's right here at the edge of the log on the outs. This would be the outside of the tree. That is still very firm timber, so I just want to take the, well, that looks like it right there. Shine a light, won't you shine a light? There it is. That dude. So let's get a center punch and hit that one. And then just so I don't lose the spot. This one might be close to where I'd like it. It's close. That'll work. Daisy. Oh. Alright. So that's this guy. Right there. Connor Mallow, good afternoon, Dave. They says, good afternoon, Connor. How's it going, man? Okay, so let's seat this. Gonna be a little bit of a bumpy ride for a minute, but once we get closer to round, there won't be so much vibration. Nice and secure. All right. So I figure I won't be speaking for a little bit because I'll have the air filter over my face, and then the safety mask over my face also. But this shouldn't take very long. So let's make sure this is set a little high. A little too low. Okay, there we go. Come on. Oops. So, as I've said before, one of the best ways to work with or mitigate vibration, say for instance in this configuration, there would be more vibration on this side of the piece than there would on this side because of the mass of the motor and the pulleys and all that stuff here, and the spindle and whatnot. All I have here is a clamp down. This side is a clamped down tailstock. So there will be a little bit more vibration on this side, and I want to tend to work from area of most vibration to area of least vibration. So as I'm rounding this out, I'll start on this end. Yeah, you can see it on camera, cool, and then this work this way. Alright, so I'm going to mask up. You probably won't be able to hear me at all. So I'll make this as quick as possible. Yeah. Whole lot of shaking going on. Man, that's the slowest thing going on. That'll work. So clearly the wood is out of balance. I'm just adjusting my speed to get the least amount of vibration to start before I start cutting. There's still going to be some, but that'll go away once this thing becomes around.
I'm also adjusting this, or had adjusted the speed to get the least amount of time between air gaps, because that induces vibration. Air gaps induce vibration in a couple of ways. One is the difference in the movement of air, and then the mass swinging around causes the lathe to rock. But also, as you're going through the air gap and then the tool makes contact with a solid object, which, as I said before, only turn as fast as your tool can cut. That helps minimize that, but that striking adds a little bit of vibration too. So I do everything I can to mitigate that in the beginning, so I don't have to deal with it. It's not too terrible right now, but it will be gone soon. Alright, so we're getting a lot closer. I still got, as you can see, some of the outer surface needs to come off, but we're not quite round yet either. So interesting to note that there was a tree branch that tried to make it, didn't make it. So might see some feathering in there, some curl in that area maybe, if that survives the removal of waste material. All right.
Alright, getting a lot closer. Do a little bit of evaluation here. Whoops, I guess I can. Let's see. Yeah, alright. No, better wait for that part, but at least I can take the mask off. Gonna keep the face shield for a minute because I do have these cracks and splits. Let's do a little bit of quick evaluation here. If I look on this end, I've got, looks like that crack stops there, that one stops about the same place, that one goes down to, looks about right there. Not sure about that one. I don't even think that's a crack. See, that one stops right about there. There, so I can ignore those. So that's the furthest one out so far. That one. That one. So I got to take at least this much material off this end to get rid, in theory, and get rid of these cracks. Let's take a look here. Kinda looks like it goes to right about there. That one goes to there. Well, clearly that one goes to there, but I'm going to be taking that down, so at some point that crack will disappear from the actual, hopefully, material that I'm going to be able to use. I already see there's going to be some curl in there. That's kind of neat. Alright, actually, well, I can't tell. No, that's the ring structure, so that's. Where's the other one? There's that one. So we'll say that that's the one right there. I've got to remove a little bit less material from this side. And I think we can just stick to overhead, yeah? Oh, did I turn that off? I did, good. Alright, so I'm going to start with that. I think I will just take these down, and then before I take it off the lathe to see if I'm going to round it out anymore, to, excuse me, golly, see if those cracks do actually disappear. I'd like to get as much as I can out of this. Again, normally it's, I don't know if I'd have even picked this one up, but after splitting the log, this quarter had fewer cracks in it, so let's see what happens. Whoops. You notice I was pulling my handle or twisting it down. The robust, these collet dudes don't really like vibration themselves. They will, at least this one, tends to come undone, loosen up. So I have to make sure that I'm paying attention to the tool and how it's cutting and all that. But also sometimes really fine sawdust will get in these threads and make it really, really difficult to tighten it down properly. So I check for that as well, and then clean the threads out. I just got a little pick tool just to clean them out. They are really fine threads, but I mean, the sawdust that gets in there is really fine too. So, and I'm not saying that's a foible or issue or whatever with Robust alone. Just this is the only collet system I've used that doesn't like a lot of vibration, and sawdust, the really fine stuff anyway, tends to get in there, build up over time, and clog the threads so that you can't tighten it properly. But a little bit of tool maintenance, that goes a long way, so I stopped to take care of it. Alright, that's that end. Still have that crack, but it looks like that's the only one left other than a new, can't call that a ring check. That would be, looks like a crack you would find. It's not a ring check, but a crack you'd find from a felled tree that bounced off the ground. And it does feel like this is actually kind of dry, so maybe it's not green wood and I can turn a whole piece today. That'd be neat. Okay, face mask back up, down. Alrighty, so let's take this off the lathe. Put my face shield aside and take a look at the ends here. Sounded like I was cutting through some pretty solid wood. Alright, so there's a crack here. Let's grab a marking device. From the light, it looks like it might end right there. Trying to follow that crack and catch a little bit of the light just the right way. Alright, and then this crack, which goes out to here. So I'm pretty sure taking it down, down in diameter will get rid of that one and most of the issue with that one. What do we got on this side? Well, that one larger, but taking it down in diameter will take care of a lot of that. At least I hope it doesn't go just, straight down like a square. Most cracks move at an angle to the surface, so hopefully that's what I'm hoping. So all this stuff will go away. May not be able to keep the feature here, but we'll see. We will see. And now I'm at a point where I can just work with safety glasses. Oh, and I can turn the fan off too. And while I'm at it, I did notice it would be really handy to have a sharp bowl gouge. This is from last night. Did a nice job so far, but yeah, we need to swap it out. I was expecting to see rust lines from water coming out of this. Now, I'm not saying that there won't be any, but it sure doesn't seem like it. It just feels cooler to the touch than, I don't know, maybe it's got some moisture content, but not enough to spit it out. Oops. So that little chatter you heard over here, I was taking too big of a cut on this, where this crack was at, and then so it was giving me a choppy surface. So I went took a smaller cut, got a much better surface, but you heard the chatter go away because I had to adjust my depth of cut. So let's see what we got here. Boy, that sure hope that stays. I am close on this side for crack-wise anyway. I am taking a really, really heavy cut. But I don't have that heavy crack on this side. See if that goes away. Almost. Let's see, let's grab the flashy light thingy here. So it looks like maybe about another 3/16 of an inch in depth. We'll see what that does for that crack too. But all the other ones are gone. So I will, in theory anyway, have at least a kind of sizable piece I can do something with. So that's, I'm glad I decided to go ahead and crack it open. I don't know how much of that you can see on camera, but my whole body was moving with the tool so that my hands and arms didn't have to change position, which meant that my cutting edge was staying in the same spot all the way down that planing cut. Highly recommend using your body mechanics to help you with your turning. Not only does it make it less stressful on the body and give you a little more time at the lathe. That's just the short run. In the long run, not only do you work on your tool handling skills, but it becomes second nature, and things it just makes it a little easier to turn, let's say, in a consistent fashion. Everybody's body mechanics are different, but you can find what works for you. I swear this is feeling really cool. There's got to be some kind of water in it. It's still got to be at least somewhat green. So that poses another conundrum, and that is this crack has already started. I have gotten rid. I was hoping that this was actually seasoned and I wouldn't have to worry too much about this crack. But I've got to get rid of it because as this dries, that's just going to get worse, this crack. All the rest of them appear to be gone. That is going to be, man, maybe about 3/8 of an inch. Let's see. Well, I can speed this up actually if I want to. Or slow it down if I want to. Where are you? Alright, so a little bit more than that. Hey, why not? Let's do that. Now they don't have any air gaps. There, that's about 400 RPM. Still not quite gone, but almost, and that's a decent size for a box. Maybe two. Well, I can't be absolutely sure, but that does look like the crack is pretty well taken care of there. So I'm going to take this down. I'm going to mark that so while it's turning, I'll know where I might consider stopping. Anchor, bevel, cut, sharp tools, good form. 400 RPM is not any different other than the speed that it takes to actually turn something out. Not any different than any other speed, whatever you're comfortable with. This is the slowest speed on my lathe. I've never turned anything at the highest speed on my lathe, which is, I believe, 3,200 RPM. I just never saw a need for that. I mean, I guess I appreciate that it's there. And when I started turning, I thought, yeah, I'll probably use that, because that's what they recommend for this size of wood and, you know, things like that. Certain aspects of the finished surface, the faster you turn, well, let's see, how do I put that? The faster you turn, it means the more revolutions you have going past the cutting edge in a shorter amount of time. So you get, in general, the faster you turn, a smoother surface with whatever tool you're working with. Where's that crack? There it is. But 3,200 RPM for me, it's kind of ludicrous. It's a ludicrous speed that I won't use because for me, I don't see a reason or need for that. Usually I think the highest I've turned, in general, the highest I turn is about, man, I don't know, probably 1,000 RPM, maybe 800, depending. Have I ever gone up? I don't usually go. Oh, well, no, that doesn't count. I was going to say, yeah, I've gone up to 2,600, but that's the buffing system. That's not, turning. So I don't know. The highest I've gone is probably 1,200 in quite a while. And if you're moving as fast as the tool can cut and not any faster, you get these clean cuts just as you would at 3,200 or faster. And I'm still turning, what am I? Oh, now I'm at 800. So at 400, I was still getting the same thing. I'm looking for that crack, and I think I thought it went down to here, so maybe that's it right there. That's where that pencil. Let's put a mark here just for reference for later. Yeah, I think that's probably it. Unless that's it. Ah. Look down here. I don't think there was anything left of the crack, so I probably won't find it here. I'm hoping not to find it here. It's not there. Oh, I should probably look on this surface. That would be a better idea. I think that's it, actually. Yeah, it's hard to see the tell by the pores and the grain and stuff, but it's actually between the two. It's right here. And that is about 1/8 of an inch in depth, so I'm going to do this. And that way, I don't waste all that wood away. And she is gone. Okay, so that is that's a decent sized box, and so is that. Oh, that's going to be cool in there, isn't it? Okay, so I get to keep some of that feature. And that's the only one. Let's see. Okay, so now I got to think about this because think carefully about this because this does feel like it's got some moisture in it. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hollow the boxes out and let these pieces dry and do their thing, and then I will pull up the next piece of timber. Let's see. Let's take a look at the chat. Looks like I missed a few things here. Let's see. I'm just hangry. Hey, how's it going? First time chatter. Hey, thanks. Thanks very much for tuning in tonight. I appreciate it. What are we turning this evening, Dave? The best I can tell you is that it is green wood. Wasn't sure about this piece of walnut, but it really does feel like water is evaporating off the surface. It's really, really chilly surface. So I'm going to twice turn these, and that means that I'm going to hollow it out, leave everything really thick, but an even thickness all the way throughout. So that as they dry, everything dries in theory evenly, and then that will help relieve some of the stress of the wood movement and stuff as it dries. So hopefully, in theory, I'll have usable pieces. I think that I have had probably 20% loss when I do twice turn stuff. I don't like coat them and all. I just turn them and then set them on a shelf in the garage. I've got a couple pieces that I still need to turn that are, a couple years old that I haven't got to yet. I check on them every once in a while. They're doing just fine. But still have had about 20% loss doing twice turned objects. So I'm thinking, at least on this walnut, it's going to be a couple of boxes, and on the cherry, I'm not sure yet because it's a crotch piece. We'll have to find out. TC Schmo, hey man, how's it going? Inquiring minds want to know. Yes. And then another first-time chatter, Seb. Hi, do you only do wood turning, or are you working wood in many ways? If you mean that, I do carving and embellishments and stuff like that, talking about design elements, that's a yes. I do as much stuff as I can while it's on the lathe, but I do carvings and set things on fire. Paint, carve, whatever, hollowed out, but primarily based around some way of having it on the lathe. Doesn't necessarily mean the whole piece, but I don't do a lot of flat work, and I'm looking down instead of giving you a top view of my head because I forgot the camera was looking at me. Sorry about that. I don't do a lot of flat work. I've got hand tools and table saw, stuff like that I can, but most of the stuff I do is, like I say, I try to do it on the lathe. But it's not all like just turning. Like I will carve, I will embellish in other ways, and but I also talk on this channel about wood selection, grain orientation, design elements, the most efficient way to use tools. So it's an educational channel too. Talk about the whole gamut of things wood turning. Hopefully to be able to reach a wider audience, from the novice to someone who's a little bit more advanced. Because even myself, I've been turning for 8-9 years, I guess. So there was a point where I was a rank novice too, and having lots of issues. Got some. How do I put that? Let's see. I got some instruction. I found a mentor or two or three, and also got some instruction from some well-regarded turners. And I will still continue to do that because I want to be the best turner that I can be. But part of the impetus behind this channel is so that I can help others like you either jump into wood turning and or improve your turning skills. So, having said that, I hope that answers your question. I'm assuming it's Seb, but it's the, double E, triple B. I'm just guessing. Hopefully I'm not mispronouncing the screen name. Okay, so I'm at this point. I'm going to revise the surface on the smaller cylinder, set myself up for holds in a chuck for later so I can true things up once everything's dry. Hollow the pieces out a bit, and that should take care of all of this particular piece of timber. So what do you say we get started? And again, if you like what you see, enjoy the broadcast, please join. We'd love to have you join the community. Give the channel a follow, and you can catch past broadcasts and future broadcasts, although you can't see the future ones yet because they're still in the future. But they will be uploaded to my YouTube channel at Dave_Rife. YouTube at Dave_Rife. I also put a link in the chat. The link is also on my Instagram, so if you would like to go back and see older broadcasts, or you miss one on the schedule, they'll be there usually by the week, the Tuesday and Wednesday nights that I broadcast. Typically by Thursday evening, the videos are both evenings. Recorded videos are uploaded to YouTube. Alright, suppose I can probably loosen that dude up a little bit. So how do you guys normally do this? Those of you that are turners, I kind of like the manual labor aspect of it a little bit, and I really like being able to use hand tools. I don't have a bandsaw. I guess I could part these off, but I don't know. That always seems like kind of a hassle to part both of them off. I don't know. I don't know what the heck I'm saying. Besides, with good saws, man, it doesn't take long, right? And I'll have to, I should have done that probably before. Oh well, too late. I got rid of those. I probably could have done these next steps while those are still on. That might have been a less time consuming prospect, because now I got to find the centers again. I don't know that I necessarily have to true these cylinders up per se, depending on the wall thickness that I'm going to leave behind. That may be just fine the way they are. If I don't get it perfectly centered. Or maybe I'll change my mind and trim them up because I got a wild hair. Really are just roughing them out. You know, I mean, I gotta leave them in fairly good condition so that the chances of survival of the drying process are a lot higher. I guess if I was a professional bowl maker, I might approach it a little bit differently. And try to save every single piece, you know, getting all that. I know you gotta recenter it anyway, but if you can get the really good center to start with, then it's much easier to true up the final product once the drying process has done all its stuff. So, as I said, I probably should have done this, or it might have been a slightly better idea. Because there is a possibility I'm going to have to true these up. Let's see how well we did here. Ooh, we need to move that over there. Make sure that this is secure on the lathe. Yup. Okay, hopefully I didn't do any weird stuff with, yeah, okay, so chat seems to be working. Alright. Well, let's take a look, how close I get. Not bad. I needed to true this one up a little bit anyway because the wall wasn't parallel. So let's just do that really quick. Seb, I did also forget to mention, I do resin turning too sometimes. Just depends on what the project is. Well, that's still not quite right. Let's see, get this side set up for a chuck. Hey now, that's not a nice thing to do. And then hit this guy up for a chuck hold. Although, hold on a second, because I'm thinking I want to take a look at the grain. Yeah, I'll put my chuck hold down here. I want this feature, as much of it as possible, to be on the main body of the lidded box. Well, that's still not true, is it? We gotta make this true. what that surface looks like. Oh, very nice. Okay, so that's going to dry faster than the rest, that dead wood in there. I wonder, I think I might throw some CA glue in that really quick. To maybe seal that off, I'm thinking. I'll be right back. And that way it won't be the area that dries out the fastest. So hopefully cracks will not start going all over the place there. I think that dried already, or cured already, I guess is the right word to use. That does not appear to have soaked in. Little shot coat there. Move the glue back here. And the accelerator behind the curtain. Alright, so that should be fully cured by now. Boy, that stuff is stinky. And let's try it just a little bit more. Hopefully it will not soak in or whatever. It's already sealed. Nope, you're not going anywhere. Not soaking in. Alright. So I'm going to call that sealed. And as I said, it won't add to the stresses in the wood by drying out too quickly and drying out the surrounding area around it too quickly. Okay, so I'm going to part it here. Lots of walnut shavings all over the place. Now, I don't normally part all the way through on the lathe. I keep my handsaw handy to cut the last little bit of that tenon out. I don't want my tool to get trapped in there. That's a possibility, especially when they kink. It's also a possibility that one or both could fly off the lathe. So I'm just trying to avoid all that stuff. I just cut the last little bit out. Plus, I don't have the tear out in the center. It's a saw cut, saw kerf, and not torn out grain in the center that you can get from parting all the way through. And that may not matter to some, but for me, I want to be able to use as much of the material as I can use. And so having to take that surface down even further to get that divot out of there is just a habit. It's just a habit I picked up. Sometimes you only get a small chunk of wood that you can't make a huge piece out of it. You've only got one piece, and you've got to make the most of it. I do find that is a wonderful little jump, not jump start, but a wonderful little jump or spark or extra spark to the creativity stuff side of life, I suppose, because you have to consider the whole piece in that chunk of wood, and I enjoy that process too. I think that's cool to be able to do that. I think I gotta switch jaws. Let's see. Well, this might hold this one. Let's see. Maybe not. I may have to switch jaws really quick. Yep, it's not going to. He's quite alright. I don't know that the other one will either. Let's try this guy. No, you're not going to make it either. Alright, time to switch jaws. Trying to see if anywhere these are making contact. It's making the lathe rust, but well, let's try them there. They don't appear to be, so maybe I'm wrong about the moisture, but golly, they do feel really cool to the touch. Alrighty, secondary jaws. I guess I can turn the dust fan off. Okay. I noticed the I'll be dogged. Notice the music is not playing. I don't know if that's super important. It should be playing. Oh, wrong channel. There we go. Sad. Do you think one can live off your art without other job? At some point, that is the goal. One of the goals. Right now, though, no. I'm not. But it takes time to get there. I'm not. I'm getting more exposure. Getting to know people a little bit more, and likewise they're getting to know about me a little bit more. So that is my goal. Another reason why I started this channel too, just to kind of help kickstart that. And I do want to become an affiliate with Twitch. I've almost met all of. I think I've met almost all of the requirements for that, and that will be some ad revenue, I believe. But yeah, there are people that professional wood turners turn like what am I production turners. Certainly do. I'm not saying that what they're turning isn't art, because there's an art to it, and it is art. It's just art in balusters and spindles, and that's not just all they're in, but production turners turn a lot of similar size, similar pieces, like for balusters, for porch. They'll turn, I don't know, I've helped turn 100 at one go out of mahogany with Lyle Jameson and Mike Obukowski. They hired me to help them out with that because it was a really big job. But production turners do and can definitely make a living doing just turning. As far as art, well, that's like I said, that's one of my goals, to be able to do that. I believe it can be done. I believe it's being done. I don't know. Let's see, those should be just fine. Excuse me just for 1 second. But I do like to teach wood turning. I like to talk about it a lot. I like to, same thing with beekeeping. I'm a beekeeper also. I like to talk about both of them at great length, apparently. Yeah, no real rust lines. So I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just nuts. But one of my goals is to also become, a turning instructor, like all over the place. Being able to help and work with thousands of people, I think would be awesome. Hundreds of thousands, whatever, I don't know. A lot of people who have similar interest in wood turning, but maybe don't have in my case, the time and among other things that I can apply to this particular craft. I've been very lucky. I've been able to put in a lot of time behind the wheel with turning. So my, what is that word? That curve, my bell curve, I guess. I guess it wouldn't be a bell curve, but my curve was a little bit flatter because I had a lot more time behind the wheel. I started out turning as therapy for PTSD. Let's see, I think I'm going to use the 2/5, 3/5 rule on this one instead of the 2/3, and I'll explain those in a minute. Dang, man, did I just lose that thought? I think I just did. Yeah, talking about teaching and being an instructor. Yeah, sorry, man, I just lost that train of thought. Achieving your goal. Oh, sorry, still... I wish you the most sincere luck in your achieving your goal. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I hope that everybody else who has can achieve their goals as well. I've come to learn over a period of time that it really takes a lot of your attention, a lot, especially when you're working for yourself. There's a lot to it. I have some friends that I'm learning from as I go too, so it's really nice, who have been in business for themselves. So it's nice to be able to have people that I can lean on and ask questions about business aspects of running a business. Anyway, back to this guy. I'll explain the 2/3, 3/5 rule. When I'm designing a piece, it's been said that the proportions of the piece look more appealing to the eye, the human eye anyway, when you use a 2/3, 1/3 rule or 3/5, 2/5 rule. And what that means is you split the piece, if we're using thirds, you split the piece up into thirds. So this one will be there, and then kick one up, hit it there. So the line that I picked was really, really close to where it is mathematically, and that is, well, let's make sure. Yep. So that's thirds right there. And the line that I picked for the lid is just a shade off of that. So let's take a look at I don't think that's going to be 3/5, 2/5, but let's take a look. So the 3/5, 2/5 rule is you split it up where 3/5, like the lid here, would be the 1/3 of the height of the whole piece. So the body is 2/3 of the height, and the lid is 1/3. With the 3/5, 2/5 rule, or the shape itself, like maybe the belly of the piece is at one of those spots, but then the shape it curves down from there, so that it has that appearance of being not top heavy or bottom heavy, but proportional and pleasing to the eye. The 3/5, 2/5 rule is the same thing. We're just using fifths instead. Let's see, 8, 24, 5, 6, 7, 27, not quite. Let's go for it anyway. Let's just say shy of 6, 6, shy of 3/4. Hello, Dave. Okay, so we'll do that one. That's 1, and we'll just carry that up. That is 2, and we'll carry that one up, and that is just shy of 3/4, 3. Yeah, it looks like it is. Just shy of 3/4, 4, and a little too shy of 3/4. So this point will be moving down here. So that's probably where my eye was not drawing. I'm really close to the 2/5, 3/5. It turns out. So that's where I was determining like where I was going to part off for a lid. Or if I was even going to have a lid on this guy, just let it dry and create a lid from something else. But I like the grain of this. I think it'll polish up really nicely. It will be a nice little, I think it'll be a nice little box. So I'm going to, since I am going to do that, I hate it when you do that. Okay. I didn't have my chuck screwed down all the way. So I need to set up for a chuck hold on this side. And that's going to get mostly carved away anyway, so I'm not really worried about what it looks like right now. God, I don't have one of those, do I? I guess I'm using this thing. What I'm doing, I would normally do this with a skew. I don't have one right here at the lathe. Just scoring the surface so that the fibers on the surface are cut and they don't fray up when I start with my parting tool. So here, since I'm hollowing out the lid and the box, maybe, yes, I was going to say maybe that I would get the tool in there because it was starting to grab, that I would go ahead and part all the way through because I'm going to remove that material anyway on this particular guy. What am I going to do with this guy? Let's see. Maybe that could be the bottom. No, maybe it could be whatever I want. Do I make this the box, the whole thing the box? I think I'm going to make the whole thing the box. No, most of it. Maybe I can use this for a lid, possibly. The grain will almost line up, sort of. Won't look too weird. Okay, moving on. Let's hollow this guy, get the wall thicknesses fairly even all the way around. Set that aside, get the lid done, set that aside, and then hollow this guy. think I'm too low for my spindle gouge, but we can adjust that. Yes, a little too low. How about now? I think that's about right. That guy over there. Oh no, elbow pokey guy, you gotta go. I don't think I need to leave these really thick. Because they are smaller pieces. I don't need like super thick walls. My end result for wall thickness is, I'm going to say 1/4 of an inch. So I don't have to leave this like an inch thick, because I know that I will still have enough material that I can remove later when I'm truing things up. So I don't need to have an inch thick, but I think this, what is that, 5/8? Where's my ruler? Almost 3/4. So it is 5/8. Wall thickness I think will be fine. Look inside there. I'm throwing shavings on the other camera again. That's funny. I'll just pull them off, but that's kind of funny. Alright. Let's see what my depth is here. There's that right there. So I can go a little bit deeper. So I will. That little bit of chirping was really hanging off, what is that, 1.5 inches or so off the tool rest with a 3/8 gouge. But took care of that problem by changing the direction of my cut. So it didn't screech so much. Alright, so that leaves me plenty of room to, God, I swear it feels, whatever, I'll quit talking about it. I'm going to leave it just to dry and see what happens. But there's plenty of room for me to true this up again and make a shelf or whatever, however I'm going to fix the lid to this guy. So let's get this guy taken care of. Now I got to figure out how I want the shape of this guy to go. The body has this on it. which once that's sanded, doesn't go all the way through, but hopefully I won't have to remove too much material off the outside, and that curl and that feature will still be there. So let's see, I might want a domed lid on this guy. Oh, well, I forgot one thing, but I can go back and do that. Round off the corners. Let's see, let's think about this. That was where it was parted off, so it's going to want to see. Yes, okay, so I've got my lid in the right orientation to match the grain up as close as it will with that part in there. Don't have a lot of material to work with, so I do have to be aware of how deep I'm going. Okay, I can go a little bit deeper, but not much, so that I maintain that wall thickness. I'm having fun because I'm playing around with. I'm doing regular forward cutting. I don't think they call it bottom cutting. That would be redundant. But regular cutting with the gouge and combining top cutting techniques to just stay in the cut and go back and forth, and it's kind of cool, man. Bear with me one sec here. I gotta get that handle on the other side. Slow and controlled movements. Moving only as fast as the tool can cut. Corners off just in case there is actually moisture in there. So that means I should catch these two. And then go back to the main body. In theory it will run true. If not, I'll just rotate it. That's good enough. So that's my gamble that this is going to wind up being a lidded box. We'll see. And you know, I think I will clean off this bit just to... So spindle gouge, I know my end, the end of my cut is going to be right there. Flute's almost all the way closed. Got my thumb on top. drop the hand down to an uncomfortable position where I have the cutting edge engaged where I need it, right up there in the corner. And then I just push this way with my left fingers and slowly raise my right hand, allowing the wrist to naturally move on its own, going only as fast as the tool can cut. I'm not rotating the tool. Purposely, my hand is rotating into my neutral position. That's simple. Well, I say that's simple, lots of practice, but it's a much more efficient way of using a spindle gouge. Alright, so I'm going to set these guys aside. Let's see, over here on this shelf, I think right here. And now we'll pull out this guy. See what we're going to do with him. Let's see. Or her, or whatever. I learned something new recently that just boggles my mind. And I don't know how to, reconcile it. Because I understand now that some people are requiring them to be noted as 3 genders. Now, I'm not making fun. I'm just confused by that because we only have the 2. And I'm not sure where the 3rd one comes into play. But I will say that I think that stuff has gotten kind of a little out of hand. Let's go back here. A little oddish, if you ask me. I applaud you to live whatever fantasy life you want to live. Whatever you want to do that. But I don't think that you have the right to require other people to follow your rules. Unless, of course, I guess, if you're, well, no, even unless you're a dictator, I guess, in a dictatorship, but none of these people are that's for sure. I just don't get the 3rd gender, I guess, is the main thing. I don't care. Doesn't matter to me. Boys, girls, who you like, who you don't like, I don't care. Now, if you're hateful about it, then I care. Because I think there's room in the world for everybody, and we don't need to be hating on each other. That's what my opinion of this government is that they're keeping us at each other's throats instead of being able to pay attention to the issues and the shit that they're doing up on Capitol Hill and in the White House. I don't agree with that either. We are supposed to be a government of the people, by the people, for the people. I'm going to say that mark was off. Oh well. Anyway, I'm happy that we live in what is purported to be a democracy, as opposed to, I don't know, a totalitarian regime or any of those other things that are not so nice. I think that is the center. Oh man, it's so close that that's what I'm going to call it. Hey man, this is the land of the free, so, I have fought, I will fight for your right to believe what you want to believe and what dreams you want to follow. As long as, I do have to put the caveat in there that it's not something detrimental to society in general, because, well, for one, it's the whole that will survive or should, I don't know, whatever. It's ridiculous to have smaller faction groups control the larger whatever group. I'm rambling and shit, and I should just shut the hell up about it. Let's get back to wood turning. I'm just really scared of what this government is becoming, I guess. What it appears to be becoming. Okay. And not enough of the population knows. There should have been just enough to get this in there. Yes! Just enough. Didn't grow up learning the Constitution, the preamble, the articles and all that were constant, at least when I was younger, constantly in the limelight, especially with the civil rights movement and God, I mean, Vietnam War. I mean, a lot of stuff happening, but so I got the education and I kept up on it. It's a lot to deal with as far as the politics and all that. It's a lot to deal with. But I don't know that they even teach this stuff in school anymore. It's like people don't understand what kind of country they live in. And the worldview is very small, which I find disconcerting because America is not, or I should say the United States, because there's North, Central, and South America. We just happen to be part of North America. But the United States is not like the only landmass and the only place people live that aren't in abject poverty. Plenty of wealthy nations out there who are doing very well. I guess I wonder if it is like the older I get, the more the political landscape tends to grow, which is kind of scary. I guess in a way, because there's more and more of the world to pay attention to. Who's doing what? Now that everybody's becoming more and more connected. I've lost count of the number of Starlink satellites that have been launched into space. Tons of those. That's another thing that bugs me. I want to be able to see the stars I grew up with, not satellites covering blanketing the skies. Okay, let's see. I will bring this over here. So I'm just using a combination of cutting and top cutting techniques to hollow this thing out as quickly as I can. Trying to hog off a little too much on that one. let's see. I've got room enough to get this in there further, so I'm not hanging off the tool rest so much. Nope, that's rubbing. Let's back off a bit. Still might be rubbing a little bit. Let's see. Okay, that'll do. Okay, let's see, I've got, I'll go a little bit deeper. I think that's a good depth, but need to open up the walls a little bit. Guess that flashy light thingy might be helpful again. So, I'm still cutting downhill to the grain. On the inside, I'm cutting in this direction, so the fibers that I'm slicing through at an oblique angle are supporting underneath, supporting the cut, and those other fibers that get cut short are coming out. So I am cutting in the direction of the grain, following the downhill. I have support in the cut. And that is why my tool is held this way, so that I can get that angled cut going this way. I just need to open up the walls a little bit. That little corner there. There we go. I think that will do it. Take the wall thickness down anymore? Yeah. Oh, that'll be good enough. Shoot. There we are. So I've got even wall thickness all the way around. So that's my wall thickness there. And there. So it should dry evenly, even though it's got a little bit more on the bottom here, but I think that'll be okay. So we'll set that. Oh, I got to catch that sharp corner, don't I? There we go. I think this one I can get in an expansion hold. Maybe with this chuck. Maybe. No! That's all right, I can use another chuck. This guy needs to come off anyway because I'm going to be stepping into that piece of cherry real shortly. Oops, wrong key. And I got a really nice wall thickness too, so I can get a good hold on this, but I just need enough of a hold to be able to round those corners. It's all I need. Very light cuts. There we are. Cool. Moving on. So next I got this guy. And this is an interesting chunk. We'll definitely get shape out of this. But this is crotch of a tree. The timber itself was all, when it was cut, it was all split and all that, so I had to cut everything into a general shape that would fit on the lathe. But the first thing I need to do is get rid of this bark. So, where did I put those things? Did they fall down, go boom? Well, the fish mallet did. Oops. Well, I'll just grab another chisel. We'll search for that later. It fell down in here. Let's see, that is a tool rest. That's a tool rest. Nope. Alright. So I want to get rid of this bark. I'm going to set this between centers, and I really want to get this one on its balance point. So we'll see how that works out. Oh, maybe the bark is not that thick right there. It looked thicker, but I want the points to be able to dig into actual wood and not the bark. The bark is really compressible and spongy and stuff like that. So you don't get a good hold with the bark underneath the points there. So I need to get it out of the way, and besides, some of that stuff's going to fly off anyway, and I'd rather it didn't hit me. So that looks about, let's get some of this too. A lot of this is going to be turned away anyway. Tons of ways to do this. I know you can use an air chisel too. That makes it much faster in a lot of cases, using an air chisel. I do not have one of those. Alright. So I'm going to set this thing up here. Hopefully I can get it. I've cut it right so I can get it on the points. Oh yes, and I have the option of extending the point some. Let's see, that one I should. Yep, so extend the points a little bit too. I don't know if your live and drive centers, I think most, I don't know, I think all, no, that's not true. Not all of the live and drive centers I've seen have movable points. But if they do, this is a really handy feature to get things between centers and on the balance point. Okay, let's get rid of this walnut here. Let's see, that'll be the tailstock, that'll be the headstock side. Let's move this out of the way for a minute. Okay, I think I can bring it in a little bit. This may be off center a lot. Hopefully I can get close to the balance point, but I may not be able to. Not and keep the feature that I want, or the feathering and stuff in the spot that I want to keep it. See, I left a little bit of the cambium layer there, and that's really slippery stuff. Alright, so let's try this here maybe. I can move that closer, can't I? Okay, maybe there, maybe here. Wait. I know what I want to do. I want to mark the center of that. Looks like I hit it. Well, I want to mark the center of that ridge, that seam. Something like that. Because this is the part I really want to keep centered. Is that right there. I'm going to mostly move the tailstock up and down to try to get to a balance point. It looks like I didn't quite cut it right. This thing is heavy and green, man. It's definitely going to spit some water out. Nope, get off there. What am I hitting? Hitting there. Too low there. Raise it up a little bit. Whoops, darn it, now I gotta start all over. Yippee-ki-yay. It is a bit of an oddly shaped piece, but hopefully I don't need to cut anything else off of it. There we go. Oh, I did not get enough of that cambium layer off there. There we go. That's really doing it. Should have made sure about this. because this really is slippery stuff, and it'll make it harder to get on your centers and stay there, but also harder to find balance point because it'll slip and slide. You want to get every little bit of bark off there, get right down to the raw wood. I think that was, let's see. I think I'll go with that. I think that was the original hole. And let's see where this balances. Goes down a little bit. Still wants to go down a little bit. Whoops. No, no, no. I'm going to be fiddly with this because I want it to be as, there it is, close to the balance point as I can get, because I'm going to get vibration out of this thing pretty badly otherwise. I really do need to cut this off. So I'm going to do that. I suppose we'll just do it the old-fashioned way. Guess it might be easier if I had my tree saw handy, but I don't. It's got to be like watching paint dry. Maybe I should just pull out the chainsaw. It would go a lot faster, wouldn't it? I'll just grab the chainsaw really quick. You're going to hear it in the background. I'll be right back. Ta-da-da-da-da. Oh, wait, is it dark outside? Alright, that's a problem. Since it's after dark and I don't want to annoy the neighbors, I've got this chunk on a more stable base, so I'll go back to the handsaw and I will be right back. Did not take long. Set that guy there for now. And bring back this guy. Alright, so I'm fairly sure that it's changed the balance point. Come on now, here we go. Figured it'd be off, but now that's a little low, so let's go back this way. Still a little low. Back this way. Ah. Stay put. Alright, so about there. Nope, get up there. I will eventually get it. So right there. Still heavy there. See what that brings us. Not a very good hold, unfortunately. So I'm going to have to recut this. Yeah, I'm going to have to recut this. Alright, so we'll move this one aside. That's a bummer. Thought I had my angle cut properly to match this. I thought that would be okay. Clearly it is not. So what direction do I need to go? This way. Pencil. Who's got the pencil? So I'll cut it straight down that way. So this is the stuff that was just, the whole trunk was torn off. Want to get rid of as much of that as possible so it doesn't come flying off the lathe too. Okay, so I will need to recut this so I can square it up properly. I was only catching probably about a fourth of the outer diameter of this and barely the point. So that's not good enough hold for this piece, especially it being a misshapen chunk. So I will cut it tomorrow in the daylight when my neighbors are not trying to pretend they're going to sleep or whatever. and leave it at that. I don't have, unfortunately, anything other blanks prepared. Let's go ahead and shut that off. I do not have any other blanks prepared for this evening, which, and it looks like I have at least an hour. So I won't be turning anything right now, but I could definitely address any. I haven't seen anything new in chat lately, but I'm happy to address any questions or comments at this time. I'm probably going to wrap it up a little early. I was hoping to at least get the outside shape of that piece done, which had I been able to get it between centers, that wouldn't have been an issue. I've got an hour to go before my broadcast normally ends. Not that I always end at 11 o'clock. Sometimes go later. But while I wait for any questions or comments, I'll just throw this out there. My name is Dave. I'm a wood turner. I started turning as therapy for PTSD. I'm a disabled veteran. And found that it is amazing therapy. I found that art is therapy. I heard that my whole life, but never really sunk in, I guess, until I needed to discover that it was great therapy for me. So now I'm a proponent. Art is therapy. I know it to be true. It works wonders for me, and it has helped me get out of the prison in my head, and be able to talk to people, normal people, everyday people, without feeling intimidated or that all eyes are on me, or that I've got to watch every single exit, although that's still a thing. I started this as therapy for PTSD, and it's worked wonders. I also started keeping bees as therapy. Also great therapy if you're a veteran, or you know a veteran who might perhaps benefit, or might even consider just checking it out. Heroes to Hives is the program that teaches veterans and their dependents how to become successful beginning beekeepers, and it is a free program to veterans and their dependents. The website is heroestohives.org, I think. I should know this right off the top of my head, and yet somehow my brain has become a sieve instantaneously. I love it when that happens. So that's for beekeeping, and many of the things that I talk about when I'm teaching wood turning or what, I'd always talk about body mechanics and safety and all that stuff. But I also talk a lot about how calming and centering wood turning can be, and the simple act of creating something. And with wood turning, it's almost instant gratification. It's almost an instant answer to your gratification, what you're trying to do. You can turn a piece on a lathe in an afternoon, or maybe over 2 days, depending on, it doesn't matter what your skill level is, but you can turn a piece in an afternoon and have a piece right there that you made, created, already finished, all done. And boom, you have something that came out of what was in behind the skull bones of your head. And so far it's been a fantastic journey. I've met a lot of really, really cool people. I think the wood turning world in general is a very open and helpful community. And so that's one of the other reasons that I started this channel. I'm always trying to become a better wood turner. I want I want to be able to help people like you become better wood turners too. Now, granted, this isn't one-on-one instruction. It's not a classroom environment, but I do my utmost to explain the tools that I'm using, why I'm using them the way that I'm using them. Last night, if you weren't able to make it, I turned two of the same objects, but I turned one entirely with scrapers, nothing but scrapers, and the other one just with a bowl gouge and a spindle gouge. Design was the same. The main takeaway was there'd be a lot more sanding with with using scrapers, but doesn't mean that scraping your way to a really lovely piece is a bad thing to do. Scrapers are very excellent at what they do. You have to go at it a little bit slower, but so what? They're still a very safe and effective tool when used properly. I just don't use them a lot. I've used them a lot more in the last couple of months because I figured I need to know a lot more about them if I'm trying to teach people about these tools. And so last night I turned a bead. I turned a couple of beads with a negative rake scraper, which I thought was really cool. I didn't even know it was possible. But now I know it is, so I will be doing it again. But exploration is a big key. I knew that there was a possibility I was going to screw that piece up, or I put a gouge in it or something that I have to clean up. But it's allowing yourself to make the mistakes. And it turns out it wasn't a mistake. I was able to turn 2 very clean beads with the negative rake scraper last night. But still, it's allowing myself, and it's the same thing that I tell other people, allowing yourself to do those things, that exploration, knowing that there's a possibility that it's not going to work out the way that you have it in your head. That's okay. You still have an opportunity to learn something from it, probably a lot of some things, depending on your skill level, and to help you not to repeat those. I mean, I don't want to call them mistakes, but, that's the word we've got. I guess improper technique. How's that? Correct improper technique. Not necessarily mistake, maybe mostly improper technique. Anyway, that's why I did start this. And TC Smo says, "See you, buddy. Thank you so much for hanging out tonight. I appreciate it. Hope to see you soon." Throw this plug in there. Next weekend, not this coming weekend, but the 28th of July, I will be at Civic Center, the Civic Center here in Traverse City for the Traverse City Art, 63rd annual Traverse City Art Fair. Have my booth set up, and the stuff there'll be some of the pieces here that I've turned on Twitch in my booth, and a lot of other things. But hopefully you come out to enjoy the art fair, and I hope you get a chance to stop by and say hi. Other than that, I don't see anything happening here on chat, so I think I'll go ahead and wrap it up. If you enjoyed what you saw this evening, please join the community, give the channel a follow. You can catch all the past broadcasts, including all future ones, on my YouTube channel, at Dave Reif on YouTube.com. And I want to say thank you very much for joining me this evening. I wish there was more to it this time, but it's the way it goes. You got to work with the materials that you have. Anyway, I hope you stay friendly. I hope to see you again Tuesday or Wednesday night, or both, if you can make it. I'm always trying out different things, man. I'm always checking out different things and passing on everything that I can pass on. And at any point that you don't understand an explanation that I'm going through here, please put it in chat. I can definitely give it more detail, or do my best at least to explain it in a way that you would understand. I want to make your journey wood turning a little bit easier as much as I can. I try to make mine as easy as I can. So thank you, Seb. I hope you have a nice day as well. He says have a nice day. I'll see you all next week, Tuesday at 8 p.m., 8 to 11, and Wednesday, 8 to 11, on this channel. I hope to see you there. Thanks again. Good night.